Hi, guys. Um, and I'm here to go over your review sheet with you that you had before spring break. I hope you guys all had a good spring break, and it's good to have everybody back. Um, anyway, so let's go over that worksheet. Now, let me see. I share here. So let's go to my Zoom. We'll go there instead. How about that? Let's see if that worked. Uh, I don't think it did. Where's my Zoom? Ah, there I am. Okay, sorry about that. Don't know. Technology eludes me. Okay, so basically these questions come from your PowerPoints here. And this is geologic time. So first question is, what is geologic time? And bam, here it is. It's the way we explain how old the Earth is, what lived and what went extinct over time. So all the stuff you have on this review sheet is basically throughout your all your PowerPoints, so you should have had no problem getting it done. How old do we believe the Earth to be? 4.6 billion years old, give or take a million years here and there. There are two different ways of dating rocks and fossils. The first one's relative, and basically relative dating just says, hey, it's in this layer and there's other layers on top of it, so it must be older than the stuff on top of it. So if you go to geologic time and scroll down to this here are your two answers. Relative dating, basically, it's just you have layers and you look at the fossils that are in those layers, or you just look at the layers themselves. And then you have absolute dating, which is scientific because we actually use nuclear radiation, the decay of nuclear radiation, to determine how old a rock or fossil is. Okay? So then what's the law of superposition? Well, again, if we go back here, superposition is just that the older layers are on bottom and the younger layers are on top. Simple as that. So you will definitely need to be looking at superpositions in a few minutes. Define index fossils. So index fossils, I'm sorry, my cat is interrupting. Anyway, so an index fossil is a fossil, typically an animal, or part of an animal that went extinct, and but it tells us that this animal, because this animal is present in this rock layer, that this rock layer has to be a certain number of years old. Um, to be an index fossil, it says the organism must have had lived only a short period of Earth's history, like the trilobite. I love going back to my trilobite. The trilobite was only found during the Paleozoic era. That was it. Once the Paleozoic extinction happened, um, then it went away and never came back. It was found over a bunch of different continents, a large area of the Earth. So we knew it was present. It was present at one time and gone the next. Um, let's see, they have to be found in rock layers and they must be unique. So you need to know these four. So if you get a chance, make sure you stop the video right now if you'd like, write down those four, but you need to know these four things are what cause something to be an index fossil. If you find an index fossil, such as a trilobite, um, what's it tell you? Basically, it tells you the relative age of that layer. It just gives you some information. What is an unconformity? So if you look in your notes, these are unconformities. Your rock layers typically lay horizontal when they settle in. But then you get some type of deformation, maybe an upheaval of the earth or something. So all of a sudden these rock layers are bent. They're now bending. They can actually tilt. They can flip upside down. They can stand straight on its edge. That's unconformity. And then to throw insult to it, you could get erosion on top of it. So now you got erosion, typically shown kind of by a squiggly, uneven line. And then you can have intrusions, or you can have more rock layers or on top of the erosion. These are all different types of unconformities, and you'll need to know the definition of unconformity. Okay. What is a geologic intrusion? This is basically when magma doesn't really make it all the way to the surface. So it comes up between the rock layers and kind of solidifies. And so it never really comes out and becomes lava. It just goes up to the rock layers and becomes a rock. So being able to date the age of rocks with accuracy using radioactive materials is called absolute dating. Absolute scientific evidence. What is a half-life? A half-life is a time required for 1/2 of the particles of that radioactive sample to decay or go away. So let's say, we'll look down here in a minute. Here's an example of half-life. So thinking back to your Skittles lab, complete the following table using the image below. Oh, I did say that. So each half-life is 10 seconds. I thought I forgot to put that in there. Silly me. Okay, so here's your half-lives here. You count all the dots. So in your first half-life, you have so your 0 half-life, total time is 0, and radioactive particles, if I were to count them, there are 32 radioactive particles here, and the dotted particles, which are the green ones, are 0 because they haven't decayed yet. Does that make sense? I hope so. So then we go through one half-life, and the total time now is 10 seconds, okay? And the number of radioactive particles, we need to count the red ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's 16. I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, there's 16. Half-life. How many dotted particles? 16. And your second half-life, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 20 seconds now, 10 more seconds. And now there's 8 radioactive particles and 24 daughter products. Okay, so this is what we did with our Skittles lab. And basically you need to be able to do this for your test. You will be given this very similar thing here. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can email me. I'm going to be on vacation, but I will check my email when I get back into the hotel room and I can email you an answer. Or you can go talk to Miss Best. She's also, or Miss Wagaman might be able to do this too. Okay, excellent. Okay, so using the graph below, answer the following. So it says, how many half-lives are present? Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 half-lives present. Okay, how many years did it take to get to the third half-life? Well, here's my third half-life, and each half-life is 5.27 years. So we just take 3 times 5.27 years. And let me get my handy dandy calculator out and have 5.27 times 3. So hopefully you got, it was 15.81 81 years. Okay, so you just take your half-lives times the number of years, the time of your half-life. Okay, our half-lives up here were seconds. So to get to the second half-life, it's 20 seconds. 2 times your 10 seconds. Okay. Now I'll come back to that. Let's see. So look at the picture below and answer the questions. Tell the layers of oldest to youngest. Okay. So what's my oldest layer here? Well, I look down here and it's probably going to be B, is what I think. The B. And let's see, then I would say it's E. And then I would say it's H. And then I would say D. And then I would say F. C, and A. Now, I skipped G because G is just the erosion. So G is the erosion, but in case it laid something down on top of it, then it's just an erosion line. It's not necessarily a layer. Okay? And what is the intrusion? C is the intrusion right here. That's your intrusion. Okay? So let's scroll on down. Let's do another one here. Indicate the layers of oldest to youngest. Again, so the oldest, a little tricky. So the oldest looks like it's going to be C down here. And then I would probably say B because the intrusion goes up. It keeps going up, but it goes up through B. So I would say the next is B. And then probably A. And then D goes all the way up through A. And then that's a fault here. So sorry, I thought E was at first the top layer, but so C, B, A, then D, and it looks like the fault then went all the way through. Whoop. If we're talking about faults, it'd be that. So what letter indicates a fault? E, which one indicates intrusion? D. Okay. Now, give me a second. Well, you're going to have to, on the test, graph this. Okay. So remember when you graph things, let's see if I can actually draw something here instead. Annotate, there we go. So you're going to have your graph paper. It looks like that, right? And make sure you tell me on this side here, this is going to be your number of radioactive particles. That'll be this here. I'm going to do it because I can't write it. And what's down here, let's see if I can do this. Oh, here's my color. So down here, this down here will be your half-lives right here. So half-lives down here, radioactive particles here. And make sure you use the entire graph. Okay, so like here it's only, so it'd be 0, and that's a 1, then 2. Sorry, my cat. And then you put your, sorry, annoying kitty. And then you would put your radioactive particles, so it'd go from 0 up to 32. Got your spaces, sorry, 32. And then you'll be drawing your line. It looks something like this. Typically, it should look like that. Okay? And don't forget your title. You need a title up here. Okay? So we're going to be looking at all those things. You get a point for your labels on your axes. You're going to get the graph is drawn for you. You'll get a point for your graph itself and your title. So make sure you know how to do this. Look back at your Skittles lab and make sure you know how to do that, okay? Okay, so let me get rid of this. Annotate, there we go. Well, let me clear this off. Okay, let's see. Annotate, let me see if I can erase. Erase, 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 erase. Ah, look at me. Okay, so get rid of annotate. So that is geologic time. So go back to this PowerPoint and look at your geologic time PowerPoint so you know what to do. Okay. And then now we're going to go into geologic eras. And so the eras, you should know the names of the 4 geological eras and the order in which they came. So Precambrian, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and then Cenozoic. Okay. And then you should complete the table. You know, what animals were present in Precambrian. Think back to your poster. Typically what it was, bacteria, single-celled organisms, maybe something like that. In Paleozoic, you had your trilobites, you had some of your sea animals, some marine life, probably mollusk, maybe some squids, I'm not sure. Mesozoic is when the dinosaurs showed up. So you'll talk about the dinosaurs and things like that. And Cenozoic is when you had woolly mammoths, saber cats, and humans. Okay, so make sure you know the animals. I won't ask you about the plants, but know your animals that were present, okay? Um, Almost all of Earth's geological history is in what era? It is the Cenozoic, okay? I lied. I was thinking human, sorry. Almost all of Earth's geological history is in Precambrian. That is the longest of the different eras. Because it was, I mean, if your hand's like this, all this is Precambrian, and the fingertip is Cenozoic, and Paleozoic is right here. So all of this, it came before just your hand. Okay. Why do you think there were few fossils in Precambrian era? Well, probably because there were no animals. At least no, there were some, the strombolites or strongylites, sorry, you know what I'm talking about. They were some index fossils, but the fact that there weren't many animals, this single-celled organisms, bacteria, things like that. So you're not going to have a whole lot of fossils from the Precambrian era. The Precambrian area is also called the age of what? So we'll go back to our geological eras. And so you can scroll down here, and that's Paleozoic. So it's the age of marine life. That's Paleozoic. Where's my Precambrian? There it is. Okay. It is the first time period of the Earth. And I'm not quite sure. Let's see what it is. It's probably the age of volcanoes. I wonder if that should have been what was Paleozoic. Okay, I think that should be Paleozoic era was the era. But just go back and know the Precambrian area was a bunch of volcanoes and things like that. But the Paleozoic was the age of marine animals. So I think that's when it first started. What happened at the end of the Precambrian era? Well, super volcanoes. They all blew up, remember? Blew up, mass extinction, and very few things survived. Maybe some little ocean creatures. But besides that, you know, total devastation. What happened? Let's see, list 3 ocean creatures in the Paleozoic era. So go back and look at your stuff on that. List 3 land creatures in Paleozoic. These are all from your poster. This is why we did the poster, okay? What is thought to have caused the end of the Paleozoic era? It was again, volcanoes. It was that Permian extinction. It wasn't the super volcanoes, but was it the super volcanoes? I think it was the super volcanoes, yes, in the Paleozoic. I'm so sorry. The Paleozoic, and I would start it all over, but we've come too far. So the Paleozoic era had all those, the Permian extinction from the super volcanoes, and it killed off everything except for some of the marine life. That's what I'm thinking. The Precambrian also had a mass extinction, but it was just, again, from volcanoes, but not like the Paleozoic. The Mesozoic era is also known the age of, so let's go back here and we go down. So the Mesozoic is down through here. Oh, so yeah. So the Permian period, mass extinction, lots of volcanoes. That's what it was. So during the Mesozoic era, this was the age of the dinosaurs. Okay. So Mesozoic was the age of the dinosaurs. Here's something you will need to know. Describe the climate and plant life during the Mesozoic era. Well, we know there are a lot of big trees, ferns, things that could, supply the dinosaurs with food. So again, go back through here and look at these notes. You should have these things here. Let's see. Where was I? What is caused in the Mesozoic era? A super meteor hit the Yucatan Peninsula and caused was it 80% of all life on Earth to die? So Mesozoic era ended with a big bang of a meteor hitting the Yucatan Peninsula. What does the word Cenozoic mean? Let's go look. So Cenozoic, that's Mesozoic's end. Okay, it means recent life because it is our recent life. And also look at here, you can also see all these things on here. So, what happened to the continents during the Cenozoic era? They all started going to their moving apart and going to where they are kind of today. How did the plants change during the Cenozoic era? Well, they became more diverse. You had a lot of ice ages, and they would flourish and then die, and then they would change and evolve. But we had a lot of plants growing and different varieties. Flowering plants started showing up. Trees, the deciduous oaks, maples started showing up. Pine trees were still around, but now there's other types of trees. What type of animals were dominant in the Cenozoic? Well, it depends on Ice Age or modern. Ice Age, you had your mammoth, your saber cats, all kinds of things. In the later on, you had more things like fox and bear and moose and things like that. The humans were present during most of the beginning of the Cenozoic era till now. Name three large extinct mammals that lived during Cenozoic. You should know that. Humans were present during the time of the large mammals, but not during the time with dinosaurs. Humans and dinosaurs never, ever came together, ever. What do you think caused humans to be the dominant species in the Cenozoic? One, we had undulated thumbs. We had, what do you call it? What do you call this? Superinput, no, input, opposable, that's the word, opposable thumbs. We can grab things, we can build things. Most mammals didn't have that. I mean, besides the great apes, that's the only two that really, maybe some little rodents, but we can grab, we can make tools, we can build. Our brain developed differently. But I really think our opposable thumbs are what caused us to be one of the most dominant species, personally. And what was the longest era? Precambrian, of course. But make sure, guys, you are going through and looking at this, okay? Looking at both of your timeline and your eras. And if you want, I did not make a Kahoot, but if you go to Kahoot and log in and just type in geologic time, there are tons of things you can review on for that as well. But you'll be asked to think, why did things change during like these different eras? What impact did humans have on different things? When humans came around, we started hunting. We were now a new threat to the animals. How did the climate change affect plant growth? Well, things started getting warmer. Plants started growing. Our continents were now on almost all parts of the world, not just centered in the middle by the equator. Now we've got temperate zones, we've got tundra, we've got deserts, we've got grasslands, we've got all kinds of things. So because the climate changed, because of the movement of the plates, new plants could grow. But anyway, so hopefully you got this done. Take this and study it. You'll get your poster back today. So, look at your poster as well, because that was a lot of information you're supposed to have researched so you'd be ready for this test. Okay? And again, email me if you need anything. I'll be around. Bye. Let's see. I gotta stop. I gotta pause it. Okay, stop share. Technology and stop.